afternoon, children. This is Anthony, your physical science teacher. Children, today we are going to discuss about the fifth chapter, which explains about metals and non-metals. What is metal and what is non-metal? Before understanding that, let us see some of the examples of metals and non-metals so that you will understand what is metal and what is non-metal. Wooden door is made of wood. Wood is not metal. It is not a metal. Knife is made of metal. It's a metal. Knife is made of steel, stainless steel. It's a metal. So, we have the human race have the tendency to use metals from the ancient times. Here are the next thing, just to you see, these are the weapons and as well as arms they use for day to day uses. Nails as well as hammer, these are all they made with metals. Now, first and foremost, and we also see the different examples of metal. Buckets are made of metal, metallic buckets. Brass or copper. Axe head is made of iron metal or steel. Ornaments, gold and silver, are metals. So, in this way, you can understand what is metal. So, let us see, before classifying metals and non-metals, we are going to see some of the physical properties of metals. The first property is appearance. Generally, all the metals shines. Shining metals. This property of metals is known as lustrous nature. Lustrous means shining. So, when you brush it or when you make a fine material, this become shining metal. So, this we see different metals like this. See in the phone, iron, when it is make a pure, it shines. Zinc also shines. Copper metal also shines, as well as aluminum also shining takes place. See, whereas here sulfur is non-metal, carbon is non-metal, magnesium is metal, iodine is non-metal. So, try to remember, iron is a metal, zinc is a metal, copper is a metal, sulfur is non-metal, aluminum is a metal, carbon is a non-metal, magnesium is metal, iodine is a non-metal. And it appears, if you come to the appearance, iron shines, zinc metal also shining takes place, copper also shines, shining is there on the surface of the copper. Sulfur will not shine, aluminum metal shining, carbon will not shine, magnesium appearance shining takes place, iodine will not shine. If you come to the color, iron is just like a steel color. Steel color we know, shaving blades as well as just like a steel, as well as cutlery, knife also shines white in color and shines. Zinc also just like silver, it shines white color and shining takes place. copper red in color and shining takes place in the copper. Aluminum is white in color and aluminum also shines. Carbon black in color and it will not shine. If you come to the magnesium, magnesium also just like silver color and this also shines, whereas iodine is violet in color, it will not shine. Okay children. So shining is the one of the properties of metals. Now come to the next frame, sonority. What is meant by sonority? We have seen that first property of the metals is shining. Second property is sonority. Sono means what? Sony. Sonority. Sono means sound. So when you hit these metals, they give sound. This property of metals is known as sonority. So when you see school bell is made of metals, bell metal. So when you ring the bell, it gives a very high sound. This is what we call this property, we call it sonority. See the figure here, say school bell, somebody is hitting the some metallic bar. So when he hit like that, the sound comes. And even temple bell also made of metal, exclusively bell metal they make. So that is why whenever you hit it, the sound comes. This property is, we call it sonority. Children, this is the second property. First property is appearance, second property is sonority. Next, come to the next, malleability. What we call it, the third property is malleability. Usually all the material will not give sheets, thin sheets, but whereas specially metals, when you hit, those gives metallic sheets. These metallic sheets can make up vessels or utensils or kitchenware we can make, or otherwise for other industrial purposes we make use of these kind of metallic sheets. Forming the metallic sheets, this property we call it malleability. Malleability. Next, we see this diagram, material sample that produce sound and material sample that do not produce sound. Just you take your own examples. So your own examples in this table and write some of the examples whatever you know. Material sample that produce sound. For example, first one I take a school bell or cycle bell which gives a sound. Suppose come to the second, material sample that do not produce sound. What will you take? A plastic doll will not give any sound, just dumping sound it gives. So this a wooden piece will not give the sound. So just like that, in your view, whatever the material sample that produce sound, write a list, as well as on the right side material sample that do not produce sound also make a nice list of the material which do not produce sound. Okay children, next come to next frame, ductility. What is ductility? Ductility means forming wires. Forming wires. These metals, when they make it, they can produce long wires of such kind. The utmost metal is gold. 1 gram of gold can make very long thin wire you can make. This property of metals is known as ductility. Ductile property, ductility. So forming the wires is ductility. See, with the help of metals we can make long wires. Those we can use industrially as well as for communication systems. We use for electrical purposes, we use these long wires. Okay children, ductility means forming the long wires. Elongation takes place with the metals. Mostly gold can make long wires, as well as copper can make up long wires, as well as silver can make up long wires, aluminum can make up long wires. This property of making long wires by elongating the metal is known as ductility. So observe the changes when it takes place. So when you flatten, iron can form thin sheets. So breaks, converts into powder, no change. These three changes for every metal we can observe. So in case of iron, there will be no breaking in the making of metals. That will not convert into powder. Why? Because it is a metal having high density. And here if we come to the third, no change. No, it changes its shape and forms thin metallic sheets. Okay, next. So with that we will see once again what are the points we cover. First one is appearance, second one is sonority, third property is malleability, and the fourth property is ductility. So try to remember children. We will see and we will meet in the next session. Thank you children.